Hey, beautiful people. 7 o'clock, the 11th of the 6th, 2025. We are well over halfway of the season. Carlton came off the bye with a, dare I say it, resounding victory versus arch enemy, the Essendon Bombers. Big week ahead. They've got the West Coast Eagles, who, if you've been watching football, literally do look like an under-12 side. But the good news is the Blues season is still alive and well. And the Blues have got some very tasty fixtures. And as always, we're going to pick a team to beat them pesky Eagles. We are joined by three people. Ian is running a bit late. He sends his apologies. And Nick is tied up working for a living like real people have to do. We're at the end of the financial year, so he sends his apologies. We love him. But joining me, as always, a man that has almost 100% attendance rate, but has been with me from the start, my Cade Simpson to my own Mark Murphy, the legend that is, the man that gets a hard-on with all things long sleeve. Dog, how are you?
I'm well, mate. I'm excited to talk Carlton. I thought we might have sacked a coach this week, but I was pleasantly surprised that we managed to get over a VFL team on Sunday night. So, no, it's exciting to be here.
Look, there was a passage in the fourth quarter that I was thinking we're going to have to rebrand this show selecting a coach table where we all present it. But Voss, he's through the hard bit now, and it's week by week, Dog, isn't it now? Just take it week by week.
Week by week, mate. You'll see with my team, I'm definitely taking it week by week. A shout out, by the way, to the great man Hudson O'Keefe, who we've just held back, and it turns out we were keeping ourselves from glory. And didn't he just cover himself in that? What a man.
I was genuinely... Why I'm in a good mood is because I know we're winning a flag this year, because you told me that once Hudson O'Keefe debuts, it'll turn. So
exactly.
Genuinely, I don't know why everyone's crying. Hudson O'Keefe debut, Carlton winning a flag. The prophecy is fulfilled.
It's just step one in a multi-step system.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like you're Neo. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You're Neo. You've begun to believe. But joining me, a man that is ahead of everything, all things Carlton. He's a journalist extraordinaire. He's our generation's William Shakespeare. He's basically, it would probably be the chick who wrote Harry Potter, but because she's a big transphobe, it's big. Jono Baruch is the best writer of the 21st century. Jono Baruch, how you doing, my friend?
Evening, Pom. That's very kind of you. But g'day, Dog. G'day, chat. Happy Wednesday. Happy World Test Championship Day to everyone who celebrates. I know we're straying a little bit from Carlton nice and early, but it's a big day. It's nice to be here after a week, particularly against a win, particularly against those guys. And I must say, Dog, when I came home from synagogue on Saturday morning and saw the news that your boy was in, I just thought of you straight away, not his parents, not his siblings. I don't know if he has a partner or anyone, but I hope that the first person that Hudson O'Keefe called when he got the message from Vossi that he was going to debut was you.
Yeah, they didn't release the video of him calling me because I was too emotional. So they just left that one in the can. No, it was very exciting, mate. It was very exciting.
Yeah, it was good. And you'll see from my team, he's done enough and he's shown that he's an AFL player. But just a message to, I guess, everyone in the chat and everyone in Twitterville. We've seen one game of Hudson. We know he's good. We know he's going to be our next premiership ruckman. Can we just calm down on the whole killing TDK chat already just of one Hudson game, please? Like, it was good. He's probably going to be our next premiership ruckman, but can we just calm the farm, back off the truck?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like Carlton supporters to get ahead of themselves, but just 1 week at a time.
I think, it's less about him being the next coming of Christ. It's more about us trying to start to feel better about TDK maybe leaving. It's 100% about fans trying to justify, like, oh, look, actually, we don't even need him. Then I think Hudson's performance, though it was quite decent.
Yes.
It's a fascinating week because we've won a game and the vibes are a little bit weird, aren't they? And like I always, you know what? When people say what's winning like, I always say there's no such thing as a bad win, right? Because if you ever ask a male, and I can't speak for females here because I am a man, so don't take this as I'm being masculine. I can only speak for a man. But if you asked a man, what's your worst blowjob like? It's always better than the last time you stubbed your toe. And that's the same with winning. Do you know what I mean? You can't have a bad win because it's still a win. Like you can't have a bad blowjob because it's still a blowjob.
I don't understand. Okay, I do understand the some of the response to the weekend, but I was just very happy to have a win over Essendon. Like it's pretty simple. And I said this when was it 2023 when we were getting ahead by 10 goals and then barely holding on? Or was it 2022? Whatever year it was. And I would just constantly come on your show or Blue Water, just say, oh, I'm just happy to get the win. I don't care if we're falling ass over tits to get there. Like, I'm just happy to have the win. I'd rather that than the alternative. I've tried the alternative. It sucks.
100%.
Always better to bank the wins. That Albert, hey, it should be a shirt, innit? How bad's your worst blowjob by Uncle Pom? Here we are, though. We talked about one team, and you can tell the Blues are back on the winners' podium when you only see one red, one blue. Mr. Baruch, tell us. We've got continuity at Carlton.
We have continuity. It's amazing what happens when you have a win, Pom. You're not lining up to shoot everyone or sack everyone and he's shit, he's out, he should be delisted, he should be traded. It's as we said, we're taking it 1 week at a time. So look, for one quarter the team played really, really well against Essendon. For another quarter they started to get beaten in the area that they're allegedly really, really good at. For another quarter, they were completely overwhelmed and lost the plot. And then for another quarter, they seemed to right the ship a little bit and get on top. And eventually, while it was a little bit hairy, they did enough to really put the game away. Or when they did, and a few experienced players stood up towards the end, mainly Sam Doherty, back on the half-back line, doing what is done best for, I don't know how long, position where he was All-Australian in. That's a novel concept. Maybe put an All-Australian player back in a position where they were All-Australian. So madness, right? So he stays on that halfback flank. Ollie Holland pushes up to the wing. I was debating whether or not to make the move of Pom Cotter to sub. Now, he had an interesting game against Essendon. He tended to float a little bit between Nick Martin and Zach Merritt. He started on Martin. He then went off onto Merritt. But I found it weird. I find a lot of things that Essendon do really weird, but the fact that they were just resting him forward and then having him take kickouts as well was very weird. So Chicotta's stats didn't actually read very well, but he ended up playing quite an important game. So I did toy with the idea of making him sub and having the impact of him coming on later, but the team is fairly standard. It's the same group that came on last week. The only change I'm really making is Durden in for Will White. I just felt that, now I'm not saying that Will White's done anything wrong, but I just felt that in the last few weeks has been lagging a little bit. I've been noticing as well the strapping on his knee, which I don't know, it doesn't look like it's really bad, but it just looks like it's restricting him a little bit. So I'm giving him a week off to just sort of rest and everything. Harry Mackay won't play, so Hudson O'Keefe keeps his spot for another week. So I thought it was good. He presented really well, 5 contested marks. It's probably all you can really want, and he gets an opportunity against the likes of Bailey Williams and Matthew Flynn to come up and really get his teeth into an AFL career a little bit more. He might, it might be interesting to see what will happen. But this is a good chance. And like I said last night on Blue Abroad with Terry Pom, and I'm interested in your opinion on this when we get to the discussion and the questions. But one of the things that we as a club didn't really do last year was we didn't really expose youngsters or any other players outside the best 23 or 24 until we absolutely needed to, and it ended up being part of our downfall. So we kept the same group in, and then eventually when we needed to give someone else a run, we hadn't seen them. So we were flying blind heading into two really, really important games. Was I surprised that we fell off a little bit against Essendon and we only scraped through the win? Well, no, not really, because one, that's where we are as a team this year. We're 11th, 12th on the ladder. We're really battling, scraping, and we're also running a few kids around the team. Like, you look at it, Carroll, Ollie Ollens is still young, Motlop's still young, Will White's still very young. So, and Hudson O'Keefe was playing his first game. So they're exposing quite a lot of youth in there around the edges of the senior players. Now, the team, as I said, was I surprised that the game was probably as close as it was? No, I wasn't. But I'm also not surprised that we won the game because we had enough senior players out on the park compared to what our opposition had. So that's really it, just in terms of changes and talking about the game. So I'm happy for them to leave Harry at home for this week, and I'm happy for them to, equally, if it's not quite right, give him another week off against North. That's really it. I thought Fantasia went missing, but you can just see with his kicking as well that he's got that little bit extra. Williams was someone that we absolutely missed, and I loved the game of Jesse Motlop. I would have loved it even more if he had finished off in front of goals and really been that damaging small forward, but he played a little bit closer to goal, and I really want to see him continue doing that for the rest of the year. No more centre bounce minutes for Jesse, just be that pure small forward. But I'll stop yapping and you can hit me with your best questions if you want.
I love it. And before we do that, making his return, the biggest return since The Rock rejoined the WWE, maybe the biggest return since Michael Jordan took out a double-page spread and said, "I'm back." The great man, the man that always makes us happy, but even when we're low, he smiles big. Ian, welcome back, mate.
Finally, he's back. No, thanks, Pommy. Apologies for being tardy, but of course, I egotistically have to make a big grand entrance as always. Was very fortunate, though, to get the end of what Jono was talking about there. So I feel like I've evaluated his team changes quite well, which is perfect to launch into all the questions.
Well,
G'day,
I'll
Ian.
throw some questions from chat. We've got
Gandolfo's
Jono.
stolen my first question to use, so you can.
Yeah,
read
well,
it out,
Jono
Luke.
said.
Oh, that was going to be mine too.
Yeah. Well, are you keeping McGovern forward, and were you tempted to bring in Ben Camporelli?
Was I tempted to bring in Ben Camporelli? Yes, but there was a comment before saying I'm not sending someone to make their debut in Perth unless it's absolutely necessary. So that's the main reason mine. And look, I'm loving. I spoke about it before. I don't know if you heard this part of the chat, Ian, but I spoke about one of the things I love that we're doing this year is we're actually exposing guys before we might need to call on them. It's one of the things that really derailed our season last year. We kind of just kept that group together. So I'm loving what we're doing in exposing some of the younger guys and seeing what they have. And I love the case and I love the form that Ben Camporelli is putting together in the VFL. He's probably, if you talk about guys that are on the bubble that are going to be sort of the next person in that midfield group, he's probably the next person in that midfield group. But it's not, for me, it was not a like-for-like change. Fogarty plays more that half-forward, small-forward role, whereas I look at Ben and he's probably more your pure on-baller and probably doesn't have that forward now. Definitely doesn't have the kicking skills yet to play that Fogarty hybrid role. So no, I didn't look at Ben Camporelli for that. But and on the McGovern forward, sorry. I said it last week, but if I'm picking one of Mitch McGovern or Lewis Young to play that role to either start at one end and then swing back and forth depending on the game situation, I'm taking Mitch McGovern.
I think it's fair. Wayne actually got my thought here. I saw you brought Dirds straight back in. Wayne asks, do you think he was stiff to be dropped last week?
Yeah, I do. Not so much because of what he didn't do. Like hitting the scoreboard this year, I would have liked to see him. I'd like to see him get up the ground a little bit more. I think if there's one small forward that you can sort of use in that Jesse Motlop on-ball role, it's probably Durden. I think he did some things in his first year when he was in the team in 2022. He was really getting up the ground, and someone made the call. Can't quite remember who it was, but is like, yeah, there's a little bit of Boomer Harvey about him in the way that he plays. You know, the tough little nuggety guy who can run, has the burst of speed, and can really get up and into it. Yeah, it's probably not going to be Boomer Harvey, and unfortunately, just by the looks of the way things are going, his body won't get him anywhere near Boomer Harvey, young Corey, but there's still a long way for him to go. But yeah, I thought he was stiff, and as I said, I'm taking Will White out mainly to just rest him, and as he was the sub, it was a little bit of a soft drop this week, so I'm putting him out managed on the team sheet, and I'm putting Durden in. And Matthew Carroll is my sub.
I love it. Have you got a question, Leck? Or did he actually?
No, I don't. No, the Gov. Have I muted myself? No, the Gov question was the question. So I just basically just starting him in defence makes sense to me.
I've got a general question. This is a vibe check from the fans. A lot of the fans are treating the next two games as walkovers, and I've seen a lot of suggestions around Twitter and Facebook and Instagram of like debut four guys. Let's see where they are. Where do you stand on that, Jono? Do you want to? Are you going in with this mindset of you're playing the team now as if it's a final, and we've tried, we've guinea pigged players. Now let's just get serious and just bank wins, or are you open to that? Maybe trial a little things over the next couple of weeks.
I'm picking every team as an individual week. And it's kind of like you're picking an 11 pro test match, right? You're picking the 11 that you think is going to be the best 11 to get the job done this week. I am picking the 23, the best 23 of who's available that can get the job done this week. So I'm not giving anyone a debut ahead of time because I want them to come in and show that they're ready. And by and large, everyone who's debuted this year has shown that they can hack it at the level in one way or another. They might not be physically ready yet. Like Harry O'Farrell definitely showed that he could play and is up to AFL level, but physically is not ready yet. But
mate, I think Andrew nails it. We banged 4 points against Richmond and it bit us in the ass. Like if we're banking 4 points before bouncing a ball, it's a very dangerous game.
100%.
I'm taking the piss against West Coast. I'm not taking the piss against North Melbourne or Port Adelaide.
Let's see your team. I'm kind of hoping to see.
You'll see some names.
I'm kind of hoping to see Matt Duffy in your team now, Leckdog. If you're
you know how tempted I was. By the way, guys, my mate sent me this today. In 2025, Carlton are the fourth oldest average team week by week by the players that are named, and the sixth most experienced team, and we're sitting 12th. So it's a good thing we're debuting players because the teams we're putting out are very experienced and not getting the job done.
Spawn. Yeah. Well,
also, it's Adam Cherra's fault he got knocked out.
It's Adam Cherra's.
That's Will Schofield's current take. Even though he says
I saw
constantly
what you
says
tagged me in. And
he constantly says it's not Amateur's fault, but if he was, more careful and if he had better technique, he wouldn't have been knocked out. Anyway,
when I turned 30, I used to have like real faith in humanity, and then when I'm turning 40 this year. I read some comments from actual established journalists. This is before I even look at fans. This is established people. And I understand now why when I was a kid, there was no warning labels on drinking bleach and rat poison, and there is now. Like, I listen to the comments and I'm like, that's why there's a warning label. That is it. Now I understand. When I was a kid, I saw bleach, I didn't drink it. Now it has to have it because journalists can't fucking rationally think. But anyway, Pom's team. I made a couple of changes. I ditched White and Fogarty. Now there's two reasons, right? I didn't want to change the team too bad. What I wanted to do though over these next 2 weeks is really iron out that inside 50 issue that we've had, right? That we've had a big one. Now, the first quarter, I have watched this first quarter now 8 times because I really wanted to learn what made it good. And one of the big ones was Mitch McGovern doing that lead. He was involved in just about everything. And so was Zach Williams. And then I noticed in the third quarter, the thing that went wrong with Zach Williams is he was caught between being the link man, but also the guy who finished it. And he couldn't do both. So I watched the VFL and my VFL wrap comes out tomorrow. But one thing I said I loved about Flynn is there's this cavalier attitude to the game of football. It's almost like I'm part of a team, but you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do my job first before I start playing people in. So I want that selfishness in the team. I want him in this team. I'm not a big fan. I don't really care where you debut. Like you debut in Perth, Bangladesh, fucking Beirut. You're playing AFL football. Have fun. And then I've brought Ben Camporelli in, right? So I figured that Carlton have used Lord beautifully. You'll see I've put him on the wing. Last week, Carlton did something very modern day no one's talked about. There was 6 players deployed on that wing at one stage, which is really fascinating for the Blues, creating a little bit of point of difference. And Lord and Ollie Hollands were the 2 biggest runners in the team. So I want to have Ben Camporelli there and give him some midfield minutes, but also give him that because I want him to hit the hot zones. This is the game that we can see where he's at because I think Elijah Hollands is a big loss in this team. And also Jack Martin is a big loss in this team. And it was obvious that somehow had an impact. So I've tried to replicate that with 2 guys I feel could be that guy. I understand Tate and tantrums. There's some selfish players in this team. I feel like some of the selfish players, though, aren't in the right places. I want to see someone actually grab the game by the balls. And watching Ben Camporelli over the last 4 weeks and Flynn Young in that very isolated game, they were 2 people that looked like they wanted to change the course of the game. And I feel like we don't have anyone at the minute who's got that cavalier attitude other than Zach Williams I've seen over 4 weeks who says, you know what, the game's going to shit. I'll break it open. So I figured this is a dress rehearsal 2 weeks. Flynn Young, Ben Camporelli, 1 spot in the best 23. Go out there and make it happen, boys. We'll have a shootout. Which one of you gets it? Enjoy it. That's my team. I'll take questions, boys and girls.
I guess the only one is around Young for me, and that's like what makes you think he can come in as sub. I don't think he played VFL, did he? Is he ready other than that?
He did. Kicked 1 goal, 12 touches, 4 marks. Was quite impactful. Played ironically that high half forward role. So I think that's a definite conduit issue. We definitely like that. So if I could get Mitch McGovern, Flynn working that role, that frees up Motlop and Williams to be the sexy small forwards that they were in patches last week. So really try and unlock that avenue of our forward half.
Well, that'll teach me because the website I use hasn't added in any of the mid-season players onto the stat sheets. So I'll use the official AFL website from now on for VFL.
It's gross, isn't it? It is gross. But Jono, any questions for me, my young man?
You've got Ben Campo. I can see why you're bringing him in, and you've kind of explained it why. You've watched the VFL a lot closer than I have, Pom. Has his kicking improved this year to be the guy to kick it inside 50?
You know what though? Like, look, I'll say this: is he the world's greatest kick? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Far from it. But what I do like about Ben Camporelli this year in the VFL is he gets them kicks in places that when I watch our forward line, they can clean it up. But I want him as like a little link player. I feel like we still lack in our midfield. Walsh is showing signs of finding it again. But someone that's just going to take the ball and take off and have a go. And that's what Ben is doing incredibly well in the VFL. He's taking the game on. He's getting the game going forward. And I feel at times, and I'm not pinning the blame on Cripps, Cherrer and Hewitt because that's harsh, but second quarter, all three of them were incredibly guilty of slowing the game down.
Yeah.
And I would like that option of, we know we flirt with Lord. Give Ben a go. Say to him, look, mate, the game is stagnating. Go in there and make something happen, mate. Go in there and make something happen. So I feel like
he's Paddy Dow about him. Get ball run straight.
Yeah, well, what I've noticed about the kids is none of them are shit scared. They haven't been Carltonized yet. Matt Carroll, sometimes to his own detriment, takes the game on. And I think that's the big thing at the minute. It's the older players with a bit of fear of what usually happens. And then them young players coming in and with that devil-may-care attitude. And I want to try and kickstart it in Cripps, Walsh, Cherrer. This is what it used to be like. Fun. Have it.
100%.
Like it.
Ian.
Yeah, my question is just around Chin Cotter. Obviously, he played a big tagging role last week. What do you envisage his role to be this week?
Who was the player? Sorry, you cut out on my end.
Oh, sorry, Chin Cotter.
Straight to Harley Reid, but with the caveat, I need to see something from him offensively. So we talked about it on the ratings at length. I hate the Ed Langdon tag. Like, I know the AFL media are absolutely tossing themselves off that he had 4 touches and literally helped him tie his shoelaces one game. But in reality, you can't tag like that. You can't, because it takes a player out of your game. So I want him out there, but I want to make sure he's impacting the game because I love Pom Cotter. He's my boy, but I just feel that that's a real negative way. We know Pom Cotter can influence the game, attacking when he's played. So this next 2-week block for me, I really need to see them 15, 16, 17 touches and doing something on the other end because we need 23 out there to win a game.
Love it.
Pom, why are you keeping Akers in? The young blokes are better. Surely running power. So someone's got to play that wing backline role. And as much as I think he gets a lot of hate, Blake Akers, at the minute, I don't want to put Lucas Camporelli in there and run him into the ground. I need that bigger size. I need that bigger size of him. So he holds his place as Lucas builds up the credits in the bank. And he was close to being dropped, but I just feel he's a moments player. And I think we do lack moments player. That goal was Blake Akers through and through. Moments, he bangs it through. If that was anyone else on our list, they would have squared that and it would have been turned over. But Blake Akers sensed the opportunity. Sensed the opportunity in my eyes. Yeah. Sonny, would I play Hoff and give Wheaters the week off? I did contemplate, and I haven't done it, but I did contemplate giving Kerner a week because I have been incredibly unhappy with his output. But the only reason I would give him a week would have been if Harry could play because I want to see Hock play 2 weeks as the second forward. I don't want him to be fucked about playing the third forward. So I was happy to keep both of them in and just enjoy themselves. I was a coward.
It is funny, like it feels like Curno's kind of off his game, even though he's kicking 3 goals a week. It's still like, give me something more. Anyway, Ian's team.
Yeah,
Ian!
Speaking of dropping Blake Acres, well, I've done it.
Hey.
I set you up as well. I set you up.
Yeah, I totally understand all the reasons and the role, and I agree Lucas and Walshy aren't really that kind of more defensive winger. My issue was just Blake Acres. I think his form has been really, really poor, makes too many big errors. And my criticism of our squad right now is the errors are coming from, and the bad decisions are coming from our most experienced players. Him, Gov, Sard, those are the kind of players that just aren't reliable at the moment. And he kicks them an amazing goal. Does that save him? In my opinion, no. And like, I think Ollie Hollands can swing onto that role if you need him to. With Doherty now playing primarily as a defender, that's kind of where I see things. If we need to swing Gov back as well, it just allows more run on that wing. And then basically the other main change is just, Durden back in. I thought it was a bit strange that White was the sub over Durden. I thought Durden's form has been pretty decent in a really poor functioning forward line. And so he comes straight in, and then Fogarty moves to my sub because out of everyone else, he's kind of the next best. But I don't love us having a super defensive player that I don't feel like we get much output from offensively or really defensively. Whereas I think a Chincola in the forward line playing that defensive role, you're getting solid defense at a high standard over Fogarty. And even the offensive side, I think I trust him to kick a few more goals anyway. But he's probably the next best that we have, so he becomes that sub. And I guess he adds a little bit of versatility because he can play a few different roles. If there is an injury, it kind of floats things around a little bit. But I don't feel like we need to change a lot right now. I know Ben and Camporelli and a few others are playing pretty well in the twos, but I just don't think there is an obvious role from where I see things, with Williams and Fantasia coming in this week, playing that sort of high half forward role, allowing a guy like Motlop to be deep and kicking those goals. I think give this a couple of weeks to kind of settle at this moment. And with the opposition we have, that's why I like this run of games for Lucas, at least to get 2 or 3 in a row and then see where he's at after that.
Mate, I love it. I have a question for you, and does this sound harsh? I thought about this long and hard, right? You know, Durden, Fogarty, White, maybe lesser to the extent of White. He's only a baby. But when you look at all their form collectively this year, and you've got to pick one, it's like being asked the question, would you rather Gastro or Flu? You don't want either, really. It's the lesser of two evils. What do you attribute that to? Did you think... I watched it, and what I noticed with Williams is the goals that Williams and Motlop kicked, they worked so hard for. And then this week, I've seen small forwards kick some of the most routine Joe the Goose goals. Why do you think we struggle to provide them real simple opportunities for our small forwards?
I would say, firstly, coaching, system, everything around that, because you can throw anyone into this team, and we've seen so many different iterations and they haven't been able to get it done. And it's like you're either coaching or letting it happen, is that old saying. And that's what I tend to think. You've had 4 years to figure it out, or believe that the crop of players aren't good enough. And we've kind of done neither. So it falls on the coaching primarily. And then I think there is a real lack of real talent in that mid half forward position. And that's why I think we've really struggled in that space until this week, when you get Williams and Fantasia back, guys that can use the football, guys that can run. Unfortunately, we're playing Motlop in that position and we weren't getting the output. It's something we clearly lack players. It's why not having Elijah Hollands hurts as well, because he's just skillful and likes to get that game moving quick and sharp to help that kind of more slow, sluggish midfield, if you like. So, yeah, I think there's a small degree of the players and the talent we actually have in those positions, but primarily the way we want to move the ball and the lack of being able to fix that issue of at least 4 years, I think it's all system.
I just don't believe that we've done nothing but recruit shit small forwards since we missed out on Tom Papley. In fact, before Tom Papley, it just can't be that we can't identify it. It's like decent players come to us and they don't progress, and that's been the case for 10 plus years. And it has to be, I don't know if it's all coaching because we've had multiple coaching panels in that time, but there's something about this group where that role struggles. I think you could put Liam Ryan and Tom Papley and Bobby Hill in this team and they'd all average, 10 pressure acts and half a goal each. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
That
and having to work so hard. I was just saying they have to work so hard in defense as well, pushing so high up the ground that when we win the ball, you've got to be one of the greatest runners ever to get back and get into the position. So it's just, there's so much wrong with what we're doing in that forward line.
Yeah, that Pickett miracle goal he kicked from the back of stoppage this week against Collingwood? I mentioned it on my watch along. They're the types of goals our small forwards have to do all the time. Like, this was just a rarity.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It was a rarity. It was like a freak moment. And then, like, the other two goals he got were like handballs over the top and good positioning. I was like, a big part of it, I think, is they have no one to learn off. Like, they have no small forward that's been there and done it that can teach them the dark arts. They're kind of learning on the job, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, we could have had Tyson Stengel and Eddie Betts coaching him, but we chose not to do that. So,
isn't it telling though that probably the two easiest goals kicked by a Carlton small forward this year by a guy who has just been thrown forward in the last 12 months to keep his spot in the team?
Yeah. And it's got to be something about they just let him play his game and just play football. It's got to be something about that. And he has joy when he does it. None of our other small forwards seem to be joyful.
I reckon that's part of the problem. I guarantee if Carlton fans had to release their drafts, there was a fuckload of Twitter drafts where you would blame Zach Williams for losing because he celebrated kicking a goal.
I saw it in the chat,
1,000%.
Oh,
crazy.
You know what? I'm not going to out the guy, but someone DM'd him, and he's a good mate of mine, but he's incredibly reactional when the football's on. But he texts me the minute that goal went, and it's the best text ever going. And that's why we lose all the time. Bloke's having fun when he's struggling to beat this mob. And I was like, legit, man, that's probably part of the problem. They don't have fun.
And it's like, God forbid a man try to get the crowd up and about. Like, those who weren't in attendance, he then started that next centre bounce in the goal square and was visibly trying to get the crowd up and about. So that's what it was. Like, anyone thinking it was anything else is, a bit delusional.
Yeah. If Paul Curtis would play for us, he'd be just in front of the back pocket on defensive transition.
He'd be the worst player in the AFL.
Jono, any questions for the great man Ian?
No, I think we've covered it all. Let's crack on, shall we?
Hey, look at you guys being efficient. Ian, before we move on, I'll ask you, because you're a small forward connoisseur. Liam Ryan, would he be a guy, and for the rest of the panel, would he be a guy that you would entertain on bringing in the fly-in Ryan?
I'd need to know so many more to be absolutely no fun. I'd need to know more details, like what's he on? What do we have to give up anything? Like if he was absolutely bargain basement, then like of course, like just bring in talent for a season. But I don't know, like, is that the player we need right now with this list where we kind of need to rejig it, a really old player that's probably not going to be there? I feel like our issues right now aren't we're going to flick a switch and in the next 1 to 2 years we'll win a flag. I feel like it's maybe 3 or 4, to be honest. So it's probably not the move I would be making right now.
Yeah,
develop our own. Can we actually finally develop our own small forward?
Flying Ryan is a free agent at the end of next year.
Flying Ryan is a free agent. He's definitely that cream on the cake player. I'd also want a dossier on his body, considering how much footy he's missed over the last couple of years.
And Carlton fans would fucking hate him too, because the difference between his best games and his worst games is so dramatic. They would hate him. You would all hate him. Unfairly, but you would.
I'd bring him in on two reasons. One, I know that he does a lot of work teaching the young kids out there. So obviously that's a passion of his. We've got Ison Gresham coming in. So I think they need a mentor. He's free. But I think the big one of him, and no one's talking about it. Have you seen his carpet commercials?
No.
No, I have not.
No.
Really? Oh, tell you what, that's something we can do in a segment. They are.
The fact I haven't said yes probably means I haven't seen it, Pommy.
I just like, oh my God, the fact that this guy, Liam Ryan, is getting paid for these commercials and he talks about rugs. We've honestly, like I talk about my mother-in-law with the enthusiasm he talks about getting down to get rugs, and he's getting paid for it. Oh God. I'll try and find it as we move on, but honestly, I'll find it. It's literally some of the best work. It's some of his best work, honestly. I don't know if it's a parody. Like, Dog, while I look for that, you tell us about your team. You were the mean guy.
Lemmy.
This is Project Leave the Boys at Home. West Coast are not a real football team. We're borderline a real football team. West Coast certainly aren't. If Patrick Cripps, Mitch McGovern, and Blake Acres weren't West Australians, they'd be staying home as well. Unfortunately, they are WA players, so that means we will take them over there. So I've kept the 3 tall forward lineup, but I've flipped Gov back to fill Haynes' role while he has a week off. I actually quite like the Gov up forward role, but he's going to start back for us this week. Which means we need someone to be our third forward. That's going to be Harry Lemmy. I think if I said this about him in the West Coast game last year, if he's not playing this week, he's never playing a game for us. So if he's not playing this week, he's never playing a game for us. He's been in decent form in the reserves. I don't necessarily think he'll be up to the level, but you can always sub him out. He's coming in. Before I get to Ben Camporelli, Frankie Evans is coming in as my sub. We love a small forward sub. He played well in the reserves. I've been really hesitant on bringing him into our team because he's, A, not played well, and B, I thought he was 45 years old. But I looked at his profile and I messaged Pom and I was asked if the AFL record was wrong because he's only like 23 years old. He just looks like he's like a 40-year-old.
Yeah, there's so many comments on my Carlton's team under 25 going, Evans is 30. And I'm like, he looks like he is, but he's not.
So he comes in purely because he's got some experience at his youth, and we love a small forward in the sub role. And Ben Camporelli debuts. I don't want to hear it. I don't give a shit if he's not debuting in South Australia or Melbourne where his family lives. I don't fucking care. He's going to fly over with the team to WA. If his parents love him, they'll buy a ticket and go over as well.
A lot closer from Adelaide to Perth than it is Melbourne.
Exactly. It'll probably be cheaper for him too. Georgie Hewitt stays at home. Again, just a rest. Nothing too sinister. If it's not him, it's Chera. Don't mind which, but I think it's Hewitt for me, just having a rest. Chera's so important to us at the moment. So Lord gets to take a lot of that midfield time. Similar to Pom, he's going to rotate with Ben Camporelli in the forward role. And the midfield, Doherty comes out. Again, he's been solid the last 2 weeks, but we need a plan for sort of life without him. I think with Ollie Hollins, Matty Carroll and Adam Sard, we can cover him. And then Chincotta, he's kind of a utility for me. I think there's no point dropping him back to the VFL. He does need that offensive output. He can't just be that hard defensive role like Pom pointed out, the Ed Langdon thing. But he just needs to get game time into him. So he's just going to play. I don't even necessarily think I need him to tag. I don't even mind if he plays as that, defensive rotation with Doherty out. But he just has to get game time into him. Fogarty and White stay in the team because I'm just trying to work out who the forwards are in this team. So there it is. That's the team.
Can I just say, Doherty, Hewitt, and Haynes being rested. We're so winning the flag, aren't we, like dog? Fucking Harry Lemmy in for a debut. What are we all worried about?
Harry Lemmy and Hudson O'Keefe playing in the same team. This is This is the best day of Lek Dog's life.
Now, I know it doesn't work in the VFL very often, but I'm telling you, at AFL level, this could work. So that's my team. Going for that youthful skew, West Coast are awful. I wouldn't do this against North Melbourne. I'm happy to do it over there against West Coast. I don't think these three players honestly make the win or loss difference if we're a real football club against West Coast.
I have one question before I hand it over to the other boys. If Harry was in, let's just say Harry Mackay was fit, totally passed his fitness test, he did train all week, everything was all good, would you have dropped Hock and brought in Lemmy, or would you have or would you?
Yeah,
have
I wouldn't have bought in Lemmy if Mackay was available. I wouldn't, for legal reasons, have dropped O'Keefe, even though I actually prefer Mitch McGovern as the third forward. I probably would have taken Matt Carroll out and just gone with a similar back line to Jono, had Gov in the back line. But I don't know. This kind of prepares me for life after.
Yeah. Eagles are tall forwards as well. I know they can't kick for shit, but they've got...
No, but they do. And they generated plenty of shots on the weekend, right? So I didn't really want to mess with...
You do need the height down there, especially against Oscar Allen, Archery, Jack Williams, the resting ruck. Ryan plays tall. You need some height and people that can move down there. So
yeah. Well, I think this is still a pretty tall back line with Gov Weeder and Carroll, J-Sauce there.
It is.
Talking about Ryan, look, I found it. Look, here it is.
Our guys, Liam Ryan here at Rug Depot. Sent off, store wide. Good guy, good quality. Make sure you pop down.
How much do you reckon he got paid in cash?
I love that they kept the bit in where he's just walking away immediately as his lines are done. They're like, no, keep it in.
Good on him.
Honestly, can I say, there's like a load of them as well. It's Street X carpets. So if you Google it, it's there. But there's loads and they leave all the out edits on there because there's one where they're actually you can hear them verbally telling him the price. So he's like, get down now, 20% off. This was $49.99 per square meter. It's now, and then the woman in the background's going, 27. And he's doing it with no enthusiasm whatsoever. And there's one where he reviews one as well, where he's like, it's really soft and it's really homely, makes any home look better. And it's like he's a hostage.
Shame.
That's incredible.
Bring him. Honestly, I would pay him $650 a year for 3 years if he promises to do every Carlton marketing.
Yes.
Yes. Get him down to Savlaki Hut.
Every bobblehead sale is going through, flying
No,
around.
but can you imagine him doing the cash for cans? The environment is completely ruined at the moment, and Carlton are all about recycling. I would love that energy because I'd be like, yes! Cracking man.
Right. Well, that's my team. And I'd like to pick the team because I'm going to have to run soon.
Yeah, all right, Michael Voss 2.0.
Mate, you only booked me for the hour.
Oh, Jesus. Tell you what, it's a long time since I've been told, can you hurry up and finish? You only had me for an hour.
People questioning my resting. It's like, this is your one chance I see in the fixture before the season's completely gone to shit to give a couple players a chance. Let's do it now.
Can I just say, people questioning Mr. Leckdog, right? He told you that Tom de Koning and Mark Pitner aren't your Premiership ruckman, right?
I started to walk back some comments on TDK, but the last few weeks, I'm back to thinking I was right about him.
all I'll say, 28-minute mark of the first quarter, Carlton went at 92.5% efficiency inside 50. We're absolutely flying. And all I could think of is Leckdog promised me when Hudson plays, we win a flag. And I was like, everything's fixed. We're 90% rebound 50. We're 92% inside 50. Hudson O'Keefe is the missing link.
The real hot ball.
I thought we looked better in the centre bounces with with big Hockball.
Honestly, I can't tell. I have not been that excited with clothes on ever. Right, here we'll pick the team then. Get ready, chat. We need defenders. Mr.
Wow, we've got a
Leckdog,
few
seeing
players,
you
haven't
are
we?
in a rush. Who are you doing? Backline.
I'm going to pick the man who opened the scoring for the weekend, Adam Sard. We should just have like a set of players we've taken from every club and just play them against their old club, and I think we'd be fine.
There's no Eagles on our list, unfortunately, is there?
No, we
Technically,
send a lot
Cripps
of
is
our
an Eagle.
people to the Eagles.
Technically, Cripps is an Eagle. He was a member of the Eagles, wasn't he, before he came to us?
Yeah.
Legacy game. Mr. Jono?
Oh, Jack Silvani. Sign the fucking piece of paper, please, mate.
Yeah, I'm not. You know more than me, but I'm just not confident that I've thought for 2 years he'll go play with his dad.
That would be worse than when people tell me brothers have to play together. I would actually lose it if sons are wanting to play with their dads.
Well, no, his dad will just give him that much fucking cash.
Yeah.
Genuinely would hate it.
Nazaya Wanganeen Miller, Jack, come and play. We'll pay you 3 craploads a year.
Sure, he hates his dad.
Ian?
Let's save Doherty on the halfback. Sorry, Leckdog. Someone else will get a rest.
Doc's back.
I'm resting Cripps.
Doc's back. You know what? Because Leckdog saved it, tried to give him a rest and put in Nicholas John Haynes.
Fuck you all.
A back pocket. Chat, I need 2 defenders. We need a full back and a back pocket. Your names: Akers, Ben Camporelli, Carroll. Oh, Carroll. Chera, Chincotta, Cripps, Kerno, Durden, Evans, Francis, and Flynn Young. Francis Young. Fantasia, Fogarty, Hewitt, Lucas Camporelli, Lemmy, Lord, McGovern, Motlop, Ollie Hollins, O'Keefe, TDK, Walsh, Wheatering, White, Williams. Oh, names flying in. How good would Michael Jameson be? He
live
would
and
be.
breathe.
Michael Jackson.
Did you put up a photo with him, Ian?
I
the other
did
day?
the other day.
What a man.
One of the greats.
You know who we need back? If
Who?
you want to get rid of Akers, there's only one man. Noons.
Bring him back.
Bring him back. It's
He
his
really
ground
brought
as
you
well.
and me quite close together,
Yeah.
Tommy.
It's
You got
Jack
what?
Newton's. It's Jack Newton's stadium this week too.
It is. He owns that joint.
I love him. It looks like Wheatering and Carroll have snuck through.
Yeah, I think Carroll's just ahead of Ollie.
You know what? You know, people have a go at Stephen Silvani. I'll say this. I've got look, a good mate of mine's dad is like Stephen Silvani. Like, literally, the guy would like get straight A's. His dad would be like, who cares? Right? But his dad loves him to pieces, but he's just got such a high standard. I see that in Jack. Why Jack's a no-nonsense footballer and just does his job is because his dad's not emotional. His dad adores him, but he's got a high standard. And I can see that in Jack. I think you look at his mum's the one who's like, go, Jackie! Where his dad was like, yeah, well done, mate. Wow, you won best on in under-16s. I've got fucking a premiership, mate. Like, that helped him aspire to greatness. So
He's also the oldest son, the most successful son. You know, there's a lot of. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel sorry that people question if Stephen's a nice. I'm sure he's lovely. To his kid.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all right, like sure he is. But like dog midfielders.
Well, given we haven't named Ollie in defence, I'll put him on the wing.
Oliver. Mr. Jono?
I'm going to pick my boy, Chesney.
You know what? People are saying Hewitt's winning the BNF. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chera.
I reckon I reckon over the last few weeks, Cherry's probably jumped him.
Yeah, well, it's fun. Rudy Edsall, ex-Triple M, put up a tweet today calling for nominations, and I said it was Hewitt's probably out in front from Tom and then from Jack Silvani, but Chera's gathering steam, and the 2023 gong was his until he did his hamstring, so he's coming to get it.
I won't be surprised to see Francis Evans as well, top 5.
Frank
the Tank.
Fun time, Frankie. Mr. Ian, midfielder
Starting-
or ruck?
Yeah, starting centre, Cooper Lord, thank you.
Lordy, he's going well. You know what? We haven't seen this for a long time, but I just think aesthetically it looks sexy. Cripps follower.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if we would rest him.
I haven't seen that since the Judd days. You know, Cripps as the follower. We need a winger, chat, and a ruckman.
Do it.
Hope
Do
really
it,
got
chat.
one ruckman
Do it,
available
chat.
to pick from.
Winger and a ruckman, chat. Your names: Akers, Ben Camporelli, Lucas Camporelli, Chincotta, Kerno, Durden, Evans, Flynn Young, Fantasia, Fogarty, Hewitt, Lemmy, McGovern, Motlop.
Chat, I dare you. I dare you, but Lepdog will be your best friend.
Motlop
It's split
Rock.
right now.
Probably the only place Motlop hasn't appeared this year. I hope to see it before I die. Motlop just take one CBA.
Grant, because you got to take rest when you get the opportunity.
Yeah, you got to take risks. Risk it for the biscuit. Skull, TDK. Oh, look at this. Says
Got multiple Motlop rucks.
it looks like it's TDK Walsh.
Yeah, it is. Chat's boring.
We had a chance to do something great.
Come
Motlop
on,
there.
Chat.
Can you imagine?
You almost made Lepdog stay.
You don't even need to ask me my selection here, Pom.
Who are you picking here?
Francis Evans, right?
Yeah.
Are you
can
doing
just put
Lemmy
him in.
debut?
You can just put this now. Put Skull in for me.
Do you want him full forward?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. O'Keefe. Have you got a shirt yet for O'Keefe?
I don't. I should.
Tell Mrs.
He
Lapdog.
needs to. The only
Sam.
numbered Guernsey I have, other than like signed ones from players, was Eddie Betts during lockdown. I bought one drinking beers in that game against Geelong, where he like saved the game for us, and it's the only time I've ever bought a player's number like printed on a Guernsey. I just need something from Hock to get me up and about, and it'll be purchased immediately.
I'm disappointed you haven't got a long sleeve Hudson O'Keefe 40 Guernsey.
Fuck, imagine if he wears a long sleeve over in Perth in 40 degrees.
Petition. Hey, mate, I hope he does. Jono, forwards.
Zachy Williams, please.
Z will. Tell you what, you don't need any bets when you've got a Z will. Ian.
Fantasia, why not? It allows Motlop to play well.
Fantasia.
We got to sacrifice someone to allow Motlop to play his natural position.
Fantasia 2025's answer to Lockie Plowman. I'm going to go McGovern, half forward line.
Nice.
Chat, 2 forwards. You need a centre half forward and a half forward. Akers, Ben Camporelli, Pommyinoz, Kerno, Durden, Evans, Flynn Young, Fogarty, Hewitt, Lucas Camporelli, Lemmy, Motlop, White. Oh, look at Damien and Sure. They're giving Motlop his just desserts. He deserves a little bit of love, does our Jess? My Flynn's getting a bit of love. Durds is getting a little bit of love.
Yeah. Lemmy has got one.
Motters is getting a lot of love, chat. Flynn Young coming late.
Flynn Young.
Flynn.
It's not
I'd love them to leave everyone home who's like over 29 years old. I'd just love to see it.
I think it's Kerno and Motters. Just.
I think you're right, brother.
I think you're right.
Couple of Flynn Youngs, couple of Lemmys. Shout out to Wayne and Gandolfo. Matty Gandolfo, it always seems to have my back, and I just respect him for it. and I disrespect everyone who doesn't support everything I say.
Look, I just want an echo chamber.
Is it too much to ask?
Is it too much to ask? I just want my opinion said back to me in an Australian accent.
Exactly. Validate me.
You know what? I say that to my kids all the time. Ideally, I just want to hear my opinion said back to me in an Australian accent, boys. Genuinely, that's all I want. That's why I keep you guys around. But interchange bench, leg dog. Who?
Ben Camporelli. I don't care if it makes sense for balance. Ben Camporelli.
Hey, Benji! Well done, debut in the WA fire. Mr. Jono.
I'm going to make sure that my boy actually gets in. So Dirds.
Durden returns. Oof, tell you what, tough
Brad
selections.
Spicer keeps asking me the same question because you take rest when it's available.
And it's fun.
And it's fun.
And also it's a boring as fuck show if I do what Ian did that one time.
Leg Dog just went through the top 10 and just tried to leave 30 people out of the top 10 of the BNF for bants. Ian, forward.
Well, firstly, I would argue that the backlash that I copped made the episode. So I will. I'll take that.
I should let it go, but it gives that much content, mate. It's beautiful.
Oh, I cannot wait to do it again just to see what will happen.
I almost did it today.
I'm going to be boring though in this way. I've had my fun. George Hewitt. I'm just scared we'll forget about him. Like we did that with someone once where we genuinely all forgot he was on the list and he was not saved.
Wouldn't be the first. Oh, you know what? This is where, like, do you go loyalty? I've got to go loyalty. Pom Carter.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Pom Carter. Right, chat. One spot remains. West Coast
no matter what.
Optus Oval in Western Australia, which is like Audi England. Are you taking Blake Acres, Franny Evans, Flynn Young, Fogarty, Lucas Camporelli, Lemmy, or Will White?
Wow.
Couple
of Youngs, couple of Campos.
Oh, Camp's
pretty
coming
tied up.
hard.
Campo. Ooh.
Camp's coming hard. Flanagan.
That would be, if Carlton were going to debut Ben, they would have to bring Lucas over. Like, maybe that's the issue. They're waiting for both of them to play a stellar game.
I think Flynn might have it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I think Flynn's got it.
Akers, sorry, mate. You're not getting
Blake.
the trip home.
Look, I mean, they are both over 18. I'm sure Ben and Lucas can survive the weekend not seeing each other. I hate to be that guy and like bring the vibe down, but they are full-grown men. I'm sure they can go 24 hours at the very minimum without physical contact. Oh wait, I've made Flynn Young red. I didn't mean to do that. So your team in this team come Mr. Ben Camporelli, Corey Durden, and Flynn Young, and out of the team, Blake Acres, who kicked a Herculean goal. Lockie Fogarty, who ran round with menace, and Will White, whose name
was also there,
rhymes with shite. You've dropped. Good team, though.
Yeah, that great team.
Good,
a huge team.
Feels a bit like overkill against West Coast, doesn't it?
I tried to get Cripps out of there. I tried.
You know what? I actually saw, no word of a lie. There is an article on the SEN at the minute about the most free kicks per game. No word of a lie. There is a Carlton comment you will find on Twitter, and the first comment, and there's also one on Facebook, is complaining about Patrick Cripps not leading that.
He's still like fifth, isn't he?
Yeah. Going, he needs to up his. One person said he needs to up his game. You can see he's down, and I'm trying to work out. Well, he's not staging enough free kicks, is he? Are they like? Is that a metric? But That is all we've got time for. Like Dog, if people go and follow you on Twitter now, I'm going to drop the link. What kind of stuff can they find?
Mostly nonsense. Articles from Code Sports that I write. I was on a few podcasts in the last couple of weeks. And then a lot of just me tweeting random shit and hoping people see it. But I think I've been shadow banned by Facebook, to be honest, by Twitter, to be honest. So I think that's
I like the way you said that with as much enthusiasm as Liam Ryan's flogging a rug.
yeah. You come and follow me. I've almost got 5,000 followers. Yeah. A lot of Hudson O'Keefe chat this week.
Look, if you're ever wondering who's got a long sleeve, that's one of the primary reasons I started following Let Dog. I just didn't expect to become his mate. That was like that was a happy coincidence. I just was turned on by the fact there was a bloke telling me who's got their shoulders covered. So I enjoyed it really. But go and follow him. He's well worth it. He's more happier when you talk to him than he is on this show, I've got to say. Ian, if everyone goes to Navy Blue Corner, I believe a little birdie tells me you're back this week.
Yes, finally. Everyone was very depressed after Carlton and how we've been, so we needed a couple of weeks off. But we are back. It'll either be dropping tomorrow or Friday as a bit of a later week episode. Previewing, reviewing, and catching up, really. It'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, Navy Blue Corner is the place to do it. Also, I got to give a bit of a quick shout out to myself, basically. But if anyone likes sports kits and like designed jerseys and concept kits and all that kind of stuff, I've got a bit of a design page I'm kicking back up at the moment. Go on to Instagram, C, that's the letter, C Sports Design, it is, or follow me on whatever socials. You'll find a link to it somewhere. But currently dropping a bunch of Premier League kits that I designed. So if you're into that kind of thing, feel free to chuck it a follow.
Can I ask a stupid question? That is the Champagne Sports Design, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Hey, they are very good. They're very tasty as well. We actually made the Man United kit look buyable, which is a risk because Mrs. Palmer's put me on a shadow ban from sports clothing at said time. Mr. Jono Baruch, Gardner Stand. If these wonderful people click the link I'm about to drop in the chat, what happens at Gardner Stand?
What happens at Gardner Stand? Well, what happens is everyone clicks on the link that Pommy has put in the chat. All you need to do is you need to plop your email address in where the call to action. You need to choose which level of membership you'd like, and it gets sent straight to your inbox whenever we drop content. We're going to hopefully drop something on Friday before the game, just a bit of a recap of the week and the general feeling. We've got all our mid-season review stuff up there now for everyone to get their teeth into. It's just been a massive week at work, so unfortunately I haven't gotten around to anything between them, but looking to get something up there on Friday for everyone. And as I said, if you sign up with your email address, it goes straight to your inbox. So get involved. It's all good fun and it's good stuff and some great people involved. And thanks to everyone for being a part of it so far.
Make sure you click that link. Also, shout out to Nick, Horizon Finance. If you click that link, it is the end of tax time. And for free, if you just say, I've seen you on Pommyinoz, where the fuck have you been the last 2 weeks, you lazy cunt? He will, for free, appraise your finances, give you a credit check, tell you where you can and can't go wrong, and help you with that next purchase. Go and see Nick. He's a great mate of mine, great friend of the channel, big blue bagger. Pom, what have you got on this week? I don't know, thinking Pom. Let me think in the future. I've got my mock draft releases tomorrow, but we're not doing a mock draft because everyone does that. We're doing the 30 best talents so far, and that's going to be a power ranking. Preview coming up, a review of the VFL. We've got a video on are Collingwood good because of Nathan Buckley or because of McRae? And it is a very good video if you are a Carlton fan, because we've deep dived into the data to explain why Collingwood are impossible to beat in tight games. And that might be Nathan Buckley, not McRae. Also, there is a bit of a froth on a draftee. We have a new favourite draftee. But later on, in about 20 minutes, stay on here. Me and my big brother who likes to bicker with me, Jake Bertoni from Saints TV. He's going to spend an hour with me with no one to support him. So we could fall out. We could be best mates still at the end of it. Anyone doesn't know. So thank you very much for joining us. Go Blues. And for the next 4 weeks, we will be doing this winning 5-win streak inbound. Go Blues.
Hell yeah.